Hello, everyone. So we're going to talk about a use case that happened with the customers of ours about how to monitor your Jira like a master using eazyBI. So, hello, I am Rodrigo. I'm from Brazil. I work at Nimble Evolution as an Atlassian consultant. We provide consultant services, licensing, training courses, agile transformation, and I've been working with Atlassian tools and eazyBI since 2015. Even after I was a consultant, I worked as in the side of the client. We used Jira, we administrated Jira for the company and used eazyBI also. Let me start telling you how it all started, how the problem started. Is anybody here also a Jira admin? Oh, there's a lot of people. So how it started? Well, it was an instance where anyone could be an admin. So you all can start feeling the goosebumps. So anyone could request for a Jira admin license profile for 7 days. But we all know that it takes just minutes to mess the whole instance. So the customer had this scenario, and then things started to get out of hand. Just to get a little bit more context, they had this because they wanted anyone could build what they needed in Jira without having blocks. So anyone was free to do what they needed in Jira. So that's why they did this. But things start to get out of hand because duplicated status started to happen. Fields, workflows were being duplicated, and not to mention users messing others users' configurations. So they were thinking that they were changing a status for their workflow, but they were changing for the whole instance. So that's when we arrived. We came in to solve this. So these are just some examples of what happened. So we have the same status with different names because they didn't know the translation feature, and even the same status but with a dot at the end or spaces. So these kind of things were examples. We just replicated in our instance. Also, issue types. We had a lot of issue types, repetitive issue types, only by changing the name. And you can see just an example, like 20 pages of issue types. But this is just an example. In the real case, it was plenty more. And also custom fields. In this case, I take the picture of only the numbers of the current scenario, okay? Not the names of the fields, just how many pages there were. So we started helping them on doing the cleanup and also not to allowing anyone to be an admin. But while we were doing it, we needed to report how the project was running. So how many issue types, how many custom fields were decreasing while we were doing the work. So how to do it? We could get this data from Jira, while if you go to the configurations page, you can see some numbers of how many custom fields you have. But in some cases, you don't have that number already explicit, so you're gonna need to count how many items are per page and multiply by the pages you have. So you're gonna have to do it like every day or every time that someone wanted to know how many configurations items we have right now. So eazyBI was the solution that we found to be reporting this more easily. And eazyBI can get Jira data, but it's Jira issues data, not the configuration items data. So we used REST API from Jira to get these informations, because there are endpoints that we can get this, and eazyBI has the feature to connect to a REST API endpoint. So we build the reports. So I will show you live in an instance, but just want to show some examples of what we needed to do. So we connected to the Jira itself, REST endpoint, and then we needed to understand how that endpoint worked, because we needed to configure if it was a get or a post method, if the return was paginated or not, because sometimes everything returned in a single page, or you had to paginate it to get all the data, and sometimes you're going to have to use the next page URL parameter, or using start at and limit parameters, so you can go through all the pages and get all the data. And then you're going to have to map that data in cubes. And also, we did sometimes some JavaScript code just to return a better text for humans to understand what mean an information from the REST API to a single text and be easier to understand. Okay, and then we created a dashboard with a lot of configuration items informations. So let me try to show you. If this not works, I have the screenshots. But let me show you what kind of informations we could get. And we can get even more, but these were the ones that we took for this scenario. So we wanted to get how many licenses we had in use and how many were still available for that environment. Because if to see it, you're going to have to be a Jira admin, a site admin. So not everyone has this kind of permission. So a dashboard with these informations would be quite helpful for them to manage the licenses. And also, we did a Confluence license management, but this was a little bit different because the endpoints to get these informations are not the same that you get from Jira. So we needed to do a count of how many users were in the groups that grant access to the product, to the Confluence product. Okay. We have the custom field management, where you can see, you could check what are the custom fields and which are not. These ones that are not are like the summary, the assignee fields, all those system fields, you would be able to see it here. And all the fields that were custom, and also the type of the field, with additional data that the endpoint give us. So we can have a field description and when it was last used. This is all information that we have in Jira that we can get from the API, and we also added in these cubes. So we also have the status. Oh. So I'm going to have to use the screenshots. Sorry? Okay. So just to mention again what I was saying, we can see additional informations from fields, like the description, when it was last used, status. What are the status, the ID of the status description, and also the category of the status, like to do, in progress, and done. If they are in use or not. Okay, by this, it is meant by if it's in a workflow or not. So these were some tricks that we also use to know what are the status that we could already remove from the instance, because they were not in use anymore. Workflow schemes. Workflow status, also if they were if they were active or not. The inactive ones, we could also remove it quite easily. And also some of these extra data, we also use it to make bulk deletions. Like for instance, we need to inform the workflow ID to do a post method to delete the workflows. But if we're gonna do it one by one, it would take a lot of time. So we can also get all of these informations and like I use Postman to automate the deletion of workflow schemes, for instance. Also, issue types. Issue type schemes that were in the previous slide, and issue types in here. For issue types, it was a little bit different to know if it was in use or not, because all the issue types are in that default issue type scheme of Jira. So we only could say that if the issue type was in another issue type scheme besides the default one. The issue type screen scheme, if they also are active or not, in use or not. Yeah, those were the reports that we built. I have already exported the definitions of all those dashboards with the reports and all the import definitions. So I'm going to post it in the community so you can maybe try on your instance. You're just going to have to change the instance URL and also add the authentication parameter, because this is not something that would come in the export definition, and my authorization would not work in your instance. So I'm going to share this in the community so you can test it on your own. You can also do improvements. I would want to know if you have done anything similar to this. If you have it, let's talk. I also wanted to do one thing that I could not do it. That was to do incremental imports, so I could see those data from different dates in the past. I tried to use the incremental import, but because I can't inform these parameters in the Jira REST APIs, I was not able to achieve this. But if you have any idea, also, I would want to talk and to know more. Okay. Okay, so that's it, folks. Do you have any questions?
So does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Sorry, maybe I missed. How do you resolve the authentication? Because those APIs are just for admins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the authentication, I needed to use an authentication for an user, but it would be best if it was a system user, because if it's a common user, then this user...
But somewhere there you are pasting this token or authenticator.
Yeah, someone needs to paste the token for the authentication.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the REST API's source definition, and we need to...
Yeah, I was wondering, maybe it automatically knows that you are logged in as administrator to eazyBI and uses this account, but no, the token must be there.
Yeah.
More questions? Ooh, that's going to be a long catch-up. Almost.
Mic check. When I was in Brazil in December, the guy said that you are eazyBI ninja. Is that true?
Yeah, in the company some say that.
Thank you.
Great, then thanks a lot. If no more questions, then thanks a lot, guys, for the
questions and Rodrigo for the presentation.